You want to change your life? You want to become the strongest, most determined version of yourself you've ever imagined? Then you'd better sit up, clear your head of distractions, and really digest every single word I'm about to lay out. I'm not here to hand out cute little motivational catchphrases that warm your heart for 5 minutes before the world crushes that fleeting inspiration. I'm here to serve up hard, uncompromising truths. The kind that shake your foundation so violently that you'll either jolt upright ready to fight for the life you claim you want, or finally admit you're not truly hungry for change at all. Each day, from the moment your eyes open, you face one seismic choice. Feed the weakest parts of yourself. Those voices that whisper you can't, you shouldn't, you'll fail, or slam the door on those excuses and become the person you keep promising yourself you'll be. Which side do you honestly believe is going to drive you forward with force? The version that dissolves into whining and procrastination? Or the version that rips the tape off your excuses and says, no more? Because that's what it boils down to. The willingness to draw the line in the sand and declare enough is enough. Picture the weaker self you've been clinging to like a safety blanket. The one forever saying, I'll handle it tomorrow. Or, there's just not enough time. Or, everything's stacked against me, so why bother? That shadow of you is quietly strangling your potential. And it won't walk away on its own. It has to be destroyed. Yes, the word destroy might sound savage, but complacency is a parasite that refuses to go quietly. It burrows deep into your routine with sweet-sounding justifications like, life's too complicated, or I've already tried and failed. But let's be brutally honest. Did you pour your soul into that attempt? Or did you merely dip your toes in the water of change? Felt the slightest discomfort and scurried back to the warm arms of your old habits? Because genuine success, the kind that alters your entire trajectory, isn't reserved for tourists who bail at the first sign of adversity. It's for those who can endure the grind, who keep pushing when the rest of the crowd shrinks back and admits defeat. The truly unstoppable didn't get there by accident or magical blessing. They carve their path through discipline, through raw persistence, through an unwavering decision to bounce back from every crushing setback and keep driving forward. That's the reality of it. Look at anyone who's accomplished something extraordinary, anyone who's ever shifted the world in business, sports, art, or any other domain. They started out uncertain too. They had the same jitters about their abilities, the same fear of failure. The big difference is that they channeled those fears into fuel. They said, if I'm terrified, that means I'm facing something significant. If I fail, I'll learn. If I'm mocked, I'll grow stronger. They didn't let self-doubt anchor them. They let it drive them forward day after day. So ask yourself right now, are you making the most of your life, or are you letting day after day slip away because you're too scared to commit fully? You'll never get back the hours you waste on complaints or self-pity or endless scrolling through distractions. Is that really how you want to spend your finite time on this planet? I want you to decide in this moment. Will you remain the same person you've been, or are you ready to sever that old skin and reveal the stronger, sharper, more driven version that's buried under the excuses? Because let me tell you, no matter how much talent you've got, no matter how many good ideas you have or how big your dreams are, you won't get anywhere without grit. You will hit obstacles that test your resolve. Times when life punches you in the gut, times when progress stalls, times when you feel isolated. Those are the days that define the winners from the quitters. Anyone can keep going when life is easy. It's what you do when you're face down in the mud that separates the unstoppable from the ordinary. You want to know how to handle adversity? You push forward. You get up. You push again. Success is never about avoiding failure. It's about using failure as a stepping stone. You try, you stumble, you learn. Then you come back with more knowledge, more tenacity, more willingness to adapt. Too many people fall once and never rise again. I've seen talented, brilliant people live small because they let fear outrun their ambition. They let a single mistake or rejection convince them they weren't cut out for greatness. That can't be you. You're here right now reading these words because you've still got a spark that wants transformation. That's the spark we're fanning into a blaze today. So yes, it's time to kill off that weak persona that's been dominating your narrative. It's time to crush the notion that you should wait until you're ready. You'll never feel 100% ready. Successful people move before they feel fully prepared. They leap, and they figure it out on the way down. All right, let's dig into the process of killing your weaker self. Step 1 is about mindset. You have to truly believe you're capable of more than what you've shown so far. Not a lukewarm "maybe I can," but a burning, unshakable conviction that you are made for something bigger. You delete the "I can't" or "I'm not good enough" talk from your vocabulary. You replace it with "I will" and "I can figure it out." You think that's just positive fluff? It's not. The language you use sculpts your mindset, and your mindset sculpts your destiny. If all you feed your mind is negativity and doubt, how can you expect to produce anything but excuses? But if you fill your mind with relentless self-belief, you build an internal engine that keeps you firing on all cylinders, even on days when motivation is at an all-time low. Next, you set concrete goals. I'm not talking about vague fantasies like "I want to be successful" or "I want to be happy." I'm talking about real, tangible milestones you can work toward. You write them down, you pin them where you see them every day, you prime yourself to focus on them from the moment you open your eyes. Goals that you can measure, goals that push you, goals that get your adrenaline pumping because the pen... Both terrifying and exhilarating. But goals alone are just dreams unless you back them up with action. Not just action when you feel inspired, but consistent action, daily action, relentless action. That means no half-assing. You show up for your goals whether you feel like it or not because success doesn't wait around for you to be in the mood. That's the difference between those who live their dreams and those who watch from the sidelines. Embrace habits that align with your ambitions. Don't ignore your alarm in the morning. Don't skip your workout because you're a little tired. Don't brush off learning a new skill because it seems hard. Every day you choose. Do you want to feed your future or feed your excuses? Surround yourself with people who elevate you. If you have naysayers, constant complainers, or people who drain your spirit, you owe it to yourself to cut that negativity out. This isn't about being cruel. It's about protecting the environment in which you grow. Your energy is precious. If you let toxic influences sap it, you'll never build enough momentum to break free from the old you. You also need to learn how to handle discomfort. Why? Because growth doesn't happen within the warm, fuzzy confines of your comfort zone. The moment you take on something that scares you, that is precisely the sign you're heading in a direction that will force you to develop new skills or new levels of resilience. If your idea of a challenge is ordering a new flavor of coffee, you're not pushing yourself. You're coasting. And coast mode keeps you locked exactly where you are. Let yourself sweat. Let yourself be scared. Let yourself fail. Then watch how much stronger and more confident you become when you emerge on the other side. If you stumble, fantastic. That's how you learn. Failure isn't your enemy. Your reaction to failure is. If you treat every misstep as proof you're incompetent, you'll never get anywhere. But if you treat them as lessons, you'll gradually refine your strategies until you find what works. The path to mastery is littered with trial and error, so you might as well embrace it. Every successful entrepreneur, artist, athlete, whoever, has their own library of horror stories about times they fell flat. But guess what? They got back up. They used each failure as stepping stones to the next level. Next, you need urgency. Quit acting like you've got endless tomorrows. Time is the only resource you can't ever reclaim. Every day spent in hesitation or indecision is a day you can never get back. That shouldn't depress you. It should light a fire in you. It should make you realize, if you don't move now, the opportunities in front of you might vanish. The best time to begin was yesterday. The second best time is right this moment. So break free from analysis paralysis. If you have a goal, start chasing it. If you have a dream, start crafting it. There's no magical alignment of stars that makes it easier than today. Discipline is another critical ingredient. Motivation might get you started, but motivation is fickle. It's that surge of excitement that courses through you when you watch an inspiring video or read a success story. But it evaporates the moment reality slaps you in the face. Discipline, however, is what makes you do what needs to be done, even on days when you're tired, discouraged, or feeling indifferent. Discipline is the alarm clock that gets you up at 5 a.m. for a workout. It's the refusal to waste 2 hours scrolling social media. It's that inner commitment to show up every single day. That's what transforms daydreamers into doers. The path you're walking is endless, by the way. There's no final finish line called success, where you get to park your car and never worry again. Life is a perpetual journey of expanding your capabilities and refining your purpose. Don't become complacent the moment you taste a little success. That's how you get blindsided. The world keeps evolving, challenges keep appearing, and if you're not moving, you're regressing. So adopt the mindset of continuous growth. Even when you achieve something significant, keep pushing. Set new goals. Sharpen your skills further. The moment you stop learning and hustling is the moment your advantage slips away. Let's not sugarcoat it, though. Hardships will come. You'll get exhausted. You'll question why you're doing all this. You'll wonder if it's worth it when everything feels like it's crashing down. But those are the moments that shape you more than any others. Anyone can give 100% when the sun is shining and success feels inevitable. True character is revealed in those long nights where it looks like you're the only person in the world who believes in your dream. That's when discipline, that habit of pushing forward, becomes your lifeline. Think about all the pioneers, inventors, entrepreneurs, and athletes who've left an indelible mark on the world. They weren't spared from failures. They weren't immune to criticism. They weren't beyond self-doubt. But they all had an unbreakable spirit. They might have been ridiculed, overlooked, and even betrayed. Yet they pressed forward because something inside them roared louder than all the negative noise outside. You have that roar in you too. If you didn't, you wouldn't be here right now, reading a text about leveling up your life. The key is to unleash it. Stop keeping it locked behind fear of judgment or fear of failure. The loudest voice should be your own, telling you it's time to do better, be better, live better. Let me share a quick anecdote. I once knew a man who hated his day job but talked constantly about starting a company. Year after year, I heard the same longing in his voice. He was smart, had a solid idea, but fear paralyzed him. He'd say, "I'll start next year," or "The timing just isn't right." But time passed, opportunities slipped by, and he watched younger, bolder entrepreneurs run with similar concepts. Finally, he realized that living with regret was more terrifying than the temporary sting of failure. He quit his job, began small, and faced rejections. But each rejection sharpened his approach. He adapted, pivoted, and pressed forward. Now he runs a successful venture that employs dozens of people. When asked about his biggest regret, he says it's that he waited so long letting fear keep him stuck. That's what I want for you, minus the delay. I want you to realize that fear of what might go wrong is nothing compared to the regret of never testing your true capacities. You're on the precipice of something amazing, but you have to make the leap. Because guess what? The weaker you will keep injecting doubts into your mind. That part of you will always ask, what if it fails? What if I'm not good enough? You answer, then I'll keep going anyway. Because you'd rather stare down failure 1,000 times than spend a life settling. Don't think for a second that you can just flip a switch, do something once and achieve permanent change. This demands consistent action. You have to talk differently to yourself. Instead of whining, "I can't," you ask, "How can I?" Instead of focusing on what you lack, focus on what steps you can take today. You also have to shift your environment. If your circle is full of negativity and cynicism, you need to distance yourself from it. If you're spending hours on meaningless distractions, cut them out. Create a world around you where growth is the default, not an afterthought. Failure, ironically, needs to be your ally. Don't hate it. Don't see it as a sign you should quit. See it as proof that you took a risk and found a method that didn't work. Every failed attempt teaches you something if you're open enough to see it. Maybe you learn a better approach. Maybe you learn resilience. Maybe you learn the importance of adjusting your timeline or your methods. Embrace it and keep pushing forward until the path reveals itself. Gratitude is another tool that sounds soft, but is actually potent. Even on your worst day, there's something to appreciate. Gratitude keeps your perspective grounded in positivity, reminds you of what you're fighting for, and can light up your attitude when you feel overwhelmed. Don't get stuck in the "I haven't achieved enough yet" mindset. Give yourself credit for how far you've come and use that positivity to keep forging ahead. Also, you need to invest in your health. Physical well-being is deeply tied to mental energy and emotional stability. You can't expect to crush your goals if your body is falling apart from neglect. If you're fueling yourself with garbage, skipping exercise, and shortchanging your sleep, you're letting yourself down. A robust body can handle stress better, can push longer hours, can sustain the hustle you need to make your mark. This isn't about vanity or aesthetics. It's about optimizing your primary tool in this quest, yourself. Then there's time management. If you keep insisting "I'm too busy," guess what? That's just a mask for poor prioritization. People who achieve a lot don't have more hours than you do. They've learned to focus on high-value tasks and ditch the noise. They say no to what doesn't matter, and they create blocks of time where they tackle their top priorities with zero interruptions. The result? 10 times the progress of someone scattered across random activities. Think about it. If you commit to half an hour of focused, distraction-free work every day on a key project, that's 3.5 hours a week, 14 hours a month, 168 hours a year on that single pursuit. That's time to build a business, learn a new skill, or write a book. The problem is most people never muster that consistent chunk of focus. They'd rather scroll, complain, or get lost in meaningless tasks. Yes, you'll have to make sacrifices. Perhaps that means waking up earlier, saying no to weekend parties, turning off Netflix. But guess what? Sacrifices are the price of greatness. You have to decide if your dreams are worth more than momentary comforts. If they are, the sacrifices won't feel like misery. They'll feel like an investment in the future you're building. Don't skip out on celebrating the small wins either. Achieving a big dream isn't an overnight phenomenon. It's the accumulation of daily battles you win. When you make even a tiny bit of progress, pause to acknowledge it. Let that positivity fuel your next steps. That's how you maintain morale over a long journey. If you only wait to celebrate when you hit the ultimate goal, you'll likely burn out before you get there. Let's talk about patience too. You might do everything right for a month and see little visible progress. That's normal. Big changes often brew beneath the surface for a while before you see any evidence. If you throw in the towel because results aren't immediate, you condemn yourself to perpetual restarts. Instead, trust the process. Trust that consistent effort stacked over time yields massive outcomes. Finally, remember that no matter how many times you try, how many times you fail, the only permanent defeat is quitting. As long as you're learning and taking another step, you're still in the game. You'll hear people mock your efforts or see peers quit around you. That's their story, not yours. Let them quit if they want, but you keep moving. Because the moment you decide your dream is worth giving everything for, you become unstoppable. So, are you going to remain captive to your weaker self, or are you ready to throw that version of you in the fire and rise from the ashes? Don't wait until tomorrow. Don't wait for a sign. Don't wait for a more convenient season. Right now is the only guaranteed time you have. Right now is the moment you either begin to rewrite your life script or remain stuck in endless reruns of your old patterns. The power is yours. The question is, do you have the courage to seize it? Commit right here. Commit to the daily grind, to pushing past fear, to embracing challenges, to refusing to let temporary pain or setbacks define you. Commit to a life of growth, discipline, and unwavering conviction that your potential is immense. Because it is. You weren't born to live a small, forgettable existence. You have depths of strength waiting to be unleashed, but it's you who must say enough is enough. Is it going to hurt sometimes? Absolutely. Are you going to fall on your face? Definitely. Will there be days you question your choices? You bet. But that's the path to building an unbreakable spirit. That's how real winners are molded. You stop letting fear dictate your pace, and you start telling fear to either ride along quietly or get out of your way. Step by step you walk forward, lumps and all, mistakes and all, but with a sense of purpose that drowns out every bit of negativity around you. You have what it takes. In fact, you've always had what it takes. This weak version of you? It's only been a mask. The real you is powerful beyond measure, hungry for a life of substance, and done with settling for crumbs when a banquet awaits. Throw off that old persona right now. Lean into the discomfort. Choose a path that forces you to grow. Go out there, punch fear in the mouth, and build the life you can't stop envisioning. If not now, when? No more excuses, no more delays. Kill that weak version of yourself and let your true strength blaze through. You can do this. You must do this. The only question left is, will you?